For many people with blindness or low vision, there hasn't always been an easy way to capture daily life.
One face cropped. Move your phone down. One face in frame. Hold for photo.
Dinner for one. Hello.
One face and one pet in frame.
Look who's here.
All right.
Two faces in frame.
Happy birthday!
Two faces.
Good morning.
Two faces.
Believe that.
First day in the new place.
Two faces. Two faces.
Getting that ready for Luca.
Two faces in frame. Three faces in frame. Hold for photo.
Capture life, no matter how you experience it. Guided frame.
Assalamu alaikum. It's really nice to be here. Firstly, thank you, the organizers, for inviting me again after a year. I wanted to start with a few examples of what AI is and how it's actually helping us right now. The first one was very close to my heart because it's a very simple use case, but if you can solve it, it has a world of an impact on a few people. And we couldn't have imagined doing it in the past. AI is not just the future, it's in the present, and it's designed for the future of all organizations. And it will help us solve small as well as fairly large and complex problems. There's another problem that I felt very good that we were able to solve using Google AI, and it talks about something called the protein folding problem. Has anyone heard of AlphaGo here at any person? Okay, if you haven't, then I'll talk through what that is, and hopefully you'll learn something cool about how we are using AI. There's been a challenge in the scientific community, especially pharmaceutical, in which I worked for almost a couple of years before I got into Google. And the challenge was the idea of understanding and predicting protein structures. What is a protein structure? It's the most fundamental unit that comprises and builds all organic matter in this world. So your bodies, all human matter, a tree, a plant, a fruit, anything organic is comprised of certain tiny elements called protein. And these protein in itself are a sequence of amino acids tied together. Now, a human body, for example, has around 300,000 protein particles. In the whole world, there are over 300 million protein particles. And just like any organic matter, it evolves. So as time passes, it evolves into something else. If, as a scientist, we were able to ever predict the evolution of a protein particle, we could potentially predict disease conditions before they happen, and also build root cause of how to solve for them. And I know there was a panel where there was a discussion around, can we potentially avoid a pandemic? The answer is most likely yes, if we give it enough time and solve for it. The challenge with the scientific community was we identified these protein particles, and we knew they were evolving, but there's too many of them, 300 million of them. So being able to predict all of them at the same time is practically impossible. And for many years, no one had a clue how to go about it. But after 15 years using AI, we were able to solve it. Let me give you a quick trajectory of how this developed. In the year 1972, there was a scientific research published on the topic. It was just theory. In 1982, in around 10 years' time, with brute mathematical force, we were able to predict 100 particles, not even close to how many are there in the universe. At some point in time, the community just gave it up, saying this is not possible using any computational power. With the launch of AI models, a small team at Google called the AlphaFold started predicting these protein particles, and in the year 1921, they were able to predict 1 million of them. We still have 300 million of them, but they were able to at least predict 1 million. Within a year of the advancements made in AI, we were able to predict all of them. So now we're at a point where we can technically predict protein particles, and it can immensely help with any research on disease conditions as well as cures for diseases. So it's possible. I think we just need to give it time. One big topic to keep in mind also is something that was impossible to do in 50 years back is now possible to do within few seconds of computing power. We are all in this search of driving excellence, and I think for organizations of the future, it'll be about driving AI excellence in their companies. And I'm hoping our company embarks on that journey as well. My name is Murtaza. As mentioned, I work at Google. I've been there 10 years, started in our engineering and product teams. In the last 2 years, I've been working on bringing the best of Google AI into Google advertising solutions and helping advertisers make the most of this. I'll talk through some of the examples of what I've seen work really well at Google, some examples of what products we are working on, and hopefully this gives you some inspiration and ideas of what you can take back to your companies. With that said, maybe just to set the bar right, why do you even bother with using AI or developing practices around AI? The first thing is counter your competition. I work at Google. I think we know this is important since we got a bit of a nice message from Microsoft when they came up with ChatGPT. But I think this applies everywhere. If you are not going to use AI, your competition will. And it's a matter of time before you kind of embrace that as well. It will improve productivity and efficiency in your company. It will attract solid talent. Because right now, if you go to the market, the top talent wants to work on the latest technologies, and they're all powered by AI. And then finally, it'll build your brand perspective. It'll build a brand image that you're doing the most cutting-edge thing. And yeah, it will take time to evolve, but that's a really big asset to have. With that said, how I would maybe envision tackling this for your company is by using a thought process called moonshot thinking, where you get together as a team, you pick up the most hugest and the most difficult problem you can solve in the company, think about the most breakthrough technologies you can deploy, and then have a kind of a SWOT, radical solution in place to evolve and solve for it. That's probably the way you can spring forward using AI. It is not all about hiring the top talent. I like this quote. It's not about just hiring the top 20% of Google, even though there are some Googlers out there who would love to get a job, and you should hire them. But that's just the start. It's more about building the culture internally within your company and looking at this as an opportunity you can solve for rather than a task or a tactic. A few examples of where I felt in the last 10 years at Google, where we did a really good job and we are doing a good job, is by creating these chance engagements where people from different parts of the company come together. They pick up a topic or an idea, they bond over it. We are allowed to work 20% of our time on any project we feel is cool and we should work on, and that has led to innovative and disruptive technologies and products launching. For example, Google Gmail was essentially a project like that, where people just got together and thought we can build a better email system than what's out there. So building that culture is really critical, and you need to invest time. You could also tackle it from building a framework that's aligned on certain questions. And as a leadership, if you can tackle these questions, it can evolve you in the right direction. For example, the first question you want to ask is, how can we create value and capabilities and experiences internally in the company? Think about business strategies you can deploy to elevate further. The second question to ask is, do we have the right operating model in place? Do we have a strategy around our operating model? Are there things that are working well today, and are there things that are not working well today, and can we siphon those things and develop a plan towards it? The third big question is your technology strategy. Do you have the right technology in place? Do you have a fund allocated to test out new technologies? And then the last two questions, which are pretty critical, do you have a cost structure in place and a security and data privacy strategy in place as well? If you ask these questions as a leadership team and kind of go on the journey to answer them together, you'll be in the right place and you'll be in the right transformative thinking process to develop and deliver products with AI. Now, why to do this now? And the real answer to that is we're at an inflection point. As we heard from earlier speakers today, there are a lot of big changes coming our way, and walk you through some that we are working with and we are dealing with at Google as well. As these changes come around, I think the businesses that are looking at this as an opportunity and seizing it up are seeing the biggest impact. And I think our core role doesn't change. We'll be doing the same things. We'll just be doing it slightly differently or drastically differently. What are some of these changes that we feel we are all in the same boat with? The first one is accelerating consumer complexity. The way we do things and the way we engage with our users has evolved heavily. To give you some stats around it, more than 50% of us engage with more than 5 devices before converting online, whether it's a product or a service or anything else. That's a lot of engagements, a lot of interactions. If you span that out towards all of your users in all market, it multiplies even further. That's a big complexity to go after. At Google, we measure search and search queries, and what we've noticed is consistently more than 10%, and as of now, up to 15% of queries are brand new. They're absolutely unique. They weren't searched before they were actually popping up on our radar. So there's a lot of interest, there's a lot of curiosity. For example, how to use AI. Just that query has seen over 2,000% growth in month over month itself. So there's a lot of change, and there's a lot of curiosity out there. Users want personalized brand experiences. So while you are building things which are cookie cutter, they expect things to be extremely personalized. Almost 66% of them want personalized experiences. While they want personalized experiences, it's not just that. They demand privacy, because these devices are not just used by them, but their families. Up to half of them would stop using your brand if they feel their privacy is not secured. So you need to balance that as you're engaging with your users and customers. And the biggest example of privacy and how big it has become is the fact that at this point in time, there won't be any browser that even supports a third-party cookie. So if you're tracking anything online, you have to evolve towards better standards. And this is a prime example of how privacy is becoming a bigger topic. Now, the other big challenge is business expectations. As leaders, your stakeholders demand more from you. They want less inputs and more outputs. As a matter of fact, from the latest study from Gartner, the number one problem CEOs and CFOs are dealing with is the fact that their stakeholders want much more with lesser inputs. And this is going to aggravate, and that's where we feel AI can really help you. And I'll give you some examples of how we are using AI, but at a nutshell, our aim is to put AI in all of our products. There's a lot of them. I have a little slide here which shows all of them on the screen. There's over 30 of them that are heavily used by our users. 6 of them are reaching up to 2 billion users at any point in time, and our aim is to bring AI to all of them. There was a mention by Rahim in the past or earlier on. Hello, thank you for mentioning Gemini. Okay, send me the bill. We've recently announced and rebranded our Bard models into Gemini, and that's going to be the backend that will power all AI-based solutions and intelligence in all of our consumer and enterprise products, beginning from Pixel to cloud, and even Google Ads and search. There's a little bit of a sneak preview video that I've saved at the end. I can share that with you before I close, so you get a kind of a sneak peek into what to expect. Now, as we power this in our user products, even in our business, the business I work on, which is Google Ads, we feel the most excellent outcomes will be delivered through the use of Google AI. And I'll walk you through some examples of what we are doing there. For example, for us, we want to put AI in the product for our users to make the most of. It's not about charging you for it. It's about just putting it in the product. One product that we work heavily on is Google Ads. And at any point in time, we are seeing millions of amount of content be viewed on YouTube, billions of searches taking place. And in some of our advertisers' account, there are over 50 million combination of just search ads. There are 7 other platforms you can advertise on. And with the launch of this new product called Performance Max that I work on, we've used a single campaign that runs across all Google channels, 7 of them, and uses the best of AI to drive outcomes for your business. This was a great endeavor. When we launched the product 2 years back, we noticed advertisers that used the product saw up to 13% better conversions for the same cost versus just running one campaign. We redid the study last year, and we saw up to 18% better results for the same clients because of the new technologies we were able to add. So if you keep measuring how this is impacting your business, you'll build a business case to keep doing it more. Now, it doesn't stop there. We've seen tons of examples. This is just one of them. It's a fashion retailer in France that saw up to 890% increase in return on ad spends by just using AI-powered solutions. There are a few other cool things we are building. For example, in the Google Ads platform, you can have a conversation with the platform, and it'll give you the list of keywords and head copies and text copies that you can utilize for your ads. We've also added generative AI experiences that's launched in US, where you can have a prompt with your ads UI, and it'll tell you which images and videos you can potentially run for your campaigns and build these on the fly. So it's a lot of easy stuff. With that said, we are using some technologies to repurpose what you already have. So for example, you uploaded a horizontal image. We can repurpose that using Vision Tech AI and make it vertical, and they perform better, obviously. And while you do all this, I think this is a really critical point. I won't play the video, but it's really important to look at yourself and your competition and really understand it's not you versus AI, it's you and your competition who's also using AI. So if you don't use it, you're a step behind. I'll skip through this video, just the interest of time. There are multiple more examples. For example, in this case, a retailer was spending a ton of time, many years, on building a predictive engine of what are the users that would actually convert, and they were using it for business decisions. They've now just powered that using regression AI and time frame AI or classification AI to power their solutions. Now, as we think about AI and how to use it, there are 5 steps here that you should kind of evolve towards, from building good foundations towards testing and trying, and then thinking about custom AI models for your solution. And it's always about using the solution together with what you have. We've built this little framework to help our marketing partners understand that the fact you're using a solution, it's really, you're giving an input to an AI model, and the output is good performance, but also insights that you get from the model that can help you improve your performance. So it's really a flywheel between you and the AI models that you're using. I'll end here by talking a little bit about how this can be used by you in your different spheres of business operations. The first thing I think you want to go on a journey with your businesses is to define your current state. What's your current state of operations? What can you improve? Where are the places where there are gaps that you can tackle? The second step is to sit together as a team and define a North Star. What is the ideal state you want to be at? And once that's defined, you have an action plan or a roadmap of how to get there. These could be OKRs or KPIs that you want to hit on a certain period of time, and that becomes a joint plan towards getting the best of AI out. And then final step is testing and reiterating. It's very standard project management stuff, but you need to define that from day one. You don't want to go on a fact-finding exercise, especially at the start. For our marketing teams, we've actually published this as 3 separate pillars. If you're in marketing, you want to first set up your data foundations. Then second, you want to pick the right campaigns that are using the right AI-based solutions. And then third, and the most important thing, you need to bring a shift in your organization about thinking about AI as a enabler of better performance and not a competitor. Potentially, you can do similar things in your frame of business, building a foundation, picking the right solution, and going into kind of C-level engagements. If you're a CEO, I think the 2 top questions that you should lead with is, without getting too much in the tactical plan, ask your CMO, your CTO, your CFOs, do we have a fully aligned plan of action? Or do we have desperate strategies which are tactics? They're not fully aligned on what the objective is and what the timeline is. If you have that, that's a great starting point. And the last question, which kind of includes your data privacy officer, is, are we collecting and activating business data in a future-proof way? Are we using the latest tech and are adhering to the latest standards? That's all I had on the questions. I will end by saying the time is now. I have a little video. It'll take a minute. Hopefully, this helps you kind of embark on the journey. I promised a little video of what you should expect with Gemini. I can play it now. It should take less than a minute. Well, that's all for me. I hope I was able to inspire some positive change. And if you have questions, please find me later. I would love to chat with you and see where you are on your journey of finding AI excellence for your companies.